In today's video, we will be taking a look at a scenario where the Caucasus Empire exists in the real world. So if you don't know what the Caucasus Empire is, it was a country from WICSO that collapsed during World War I. But in today's video, it is back and in the real world. So it is going to expand. It expands a lot throughout my WICSO. And, well, looking around, it's surrounded by some pretty strong countries like Russia and Turkey and Iran. But they also border Kazakhstan, which is going to be the first country that they invade, so they will start to send troops into Kazakhstan. As they push along here and also push down here towards the Caspian Sea. And they will continue to push around. They will push down here and take all of this part of Kazakhstan. And we'll continue to push until eventually the front line looks like this. And after a bit more fighting, Kazakhstan will surrender. And they will lose. This land here, which is now part of the Caucasus Empire. With this, the Caucasus Empire has expanded, but they are not going to stop expanding, as they instantly take the troops that were stationed right here and move them into Turkmenistan. With that, they start pushing in. And they will take all of the area around the Caspian Sea. They will continue pushing until they get to over here, in which they will offer peace to Turkmenistan in return for the land that they have taken. So not too far back. So with that, the new border will look a bit like this, as they take all of this land here. They will also take this area over here, right there, if I can color it in. Boom. And now they're looking like this. However, they're not a big fan of how this border here looks, so they kind of just... We're just going to skip this because it's not that much that they take. They kind of just go and say, this is ours now, and you can't do anything about it, in which Uzbekistan will agree because it's either that or die. So they just agree to give that land over to the Caucasus Empire. After which the Caucasus Empire looks something like this. However, they're not going to stop expanding because they want a lot of land. They want to expand into a lot more than just the area that they currently have. So next they declare war on the US, of course. Just kidding. No. They actually declare war on the Caspian Sea. So they send troops just into the Caspian Sea. However, they don't give them the right equipment, so they all just drown to death. And then they realize that maybe invading the Caspian Sea is not going to go well for them, so they just decide to stop invading the Caspian Sea. Okay, anyways, now back to the actual video. Looking around at their neighbors, they choose the next one to invade, and they choose Iran, which they did take some land from up here, just from existing. However, now they're going to actually invade, so they start pushing troops along over here. And also over here. As they start pushing throughout Iran. The capital is somewhere around here. It's either like right here or down here somewhere. I don't know exactly, but it's somewhere around here. So eventually, skipping ahead, they've taken the capital. With this, they will have a lot more success, because once you lose your capital, well, things don't go too well for you. And they have some pretty big ambitions for what they want to do with this, as they want to have more coastal access than just up here. They want to have access to the coast down here. So they are going to push in. Now, compared to the others, Iran is stronger, and they will push back a bit, but then the remaining troops get surrounded and just die. And, well, things are not going good for Iran, as they're cut into two parts, the small of which will fall, and the big of which will also fall, but a lot slower. No, they don't push that far back. They try to push back over here. However, then these troops get cut off, and they all escape into the ocean, and then drowned, just like all of the Caucasus Empire troops that were sent into the Caspian Sea. With this, Iran will eventually fall over to the Caucasus Empire, in which oh wait, no, I mean to go up here. Oh wait, it's still blue. I need to make it white. There. Anyways, in the peace treaty, is that it? In the peace treaty, Iran is going to be left looking nothing like they did before the war, as they lose all of this land here, making this border here like that. And for the rest of them, well, the Caucasus Empire isn't just going to let them go. No, they're going to turn them into a puppet state. Now the Caucasus Empire is looking a lot bigger. They have access down here, which means they don't have to go through here now. They can just go directly through here to trade with over here. They will still be using this area to go through to trade with Europe, but you know, trading with Europe would be a lot easier if you just, well, had you had Istanbul. So with this, the Caucasus Empire decides that the next area that they're going to invade is Turkey. Now actually I just wait, I'm stupid. They already had it, I forgot they had this. Okay, well, this part of the that they had has finally arrived. The thing that brought them to the real world, it kind of like took a while for this part to show up. However, when they started invading Turkey, it showed up at the perfect time, and somehow the troops just already knew about the war, so they start pushing into Turkey as well. Turkey did not expect this to happen, so they're taking off guard in the capital, which is somewhere around here, falls. With this, the Caucasus Empire has a lot of success invading into Turkey. And, well, eventually Turkey will fall. And also, they finally captured the entirety of the Caspian Sea. Anyways, though, in the treaty, let's just do that quickly. Oh wait, Turkey is still, you know what? Fixed. Anyways. Here we have the treaty in which the Empire will take all of this and Turkey is left to just this. With the Caucasus Empire looking pretty big at this point. Or it was already pretty big, but now it's huge. Looking like this. They decide that Bulgaria doesn't actually exist and is actually part of them. So they kind of just have a massive genocide against the Bulgarian people over here. They also found some stuff in the parts of Russia that they took, which contained some nukes, so they just drop a few of those onto Bulgaria, in which Bulgaria is now just a massive wasteland that is now part of the Caucasus Empire. I don't know why I didn't, you know what, let's just have an actual war. So the Caucasus Empire will invade into Bulgaria and cut them in half and take all of them. They got an actual war, people. You happy? With that, Bulgaria is now completely part of the Caucasus Empire, and the people there are massively genocided against because the Caucasus Empire decided to commit some genocide today, which in my WICSO countries that have committed genocide, the original Chinese country and Denmark, and now the Caucasus Empire, but that's not actually in WICSO, that's just in this, and another country in the next episode, so that's a hint at what's going to happen in episode 39. Anyways, next they decide to invade Ukraine. As they start pushing into Ukraine, they push around these Russian ex-slaves. They will also push over here and take Crimea. And Russia is like, wait, you're invading to our land, Crimea is ours. And, they are now both at war with, the, Caucasus Empire, while also being at war with each other. Why is that not color? Each other. So, now we have a three-way war, and this part of, this decides that they're part of Russia now, so now Russia has another ex-slave, and, well, it just then sinks into the ocean. Anyways, now let me color the light things. So, with this, the Caucasus Empire will push into the, Russian exclaves pretty easily. And they start pushing to Russia. They also continue pushing to Ukraine, connecting this up. As they push into Russia, they have massive success, as this video is about them, and they have plot armor. With this, Russia realizes that this was a bad idea, and they decide to pull out of the war. After a bit more fighting Ukraine will decide to leave the war as well. And the Caucasus Empire takes all of what they invaded into. As they now look like this. And then afterwards they decide that Moldova and Romania look yummy, so they push into those. And after that they decide, you know what, let's take Serbia as well. You know, let's take Kosovo as well. I mean, they all some, depending on who you ask, they're part of Serbia, so they should have that if they took Serbia. And here, this we can also take, and also let's take this and this and this. As they start forgetting what these countries' names are, their names are North Macedonia, Montenegro, Albania, and Greece. But the Caucasus Empire didn't know that because they're not from this, they're not from the same, universe. However, there is a Greece in their universe, so they should have at least known that one. But they start invading into them. And after seeing that happen, Bosnia decides that they're not dealing with this, and they sink into the ocean. Soon after, the Caucasus Empire will annex all of this over here. They also decide that they want the rest of Turkey, so they annex that. Without even fighting a war, they just said, you're part of us now, Turkey. Turkey said no, and they said too bad. And then the entire world was just like, you know what, let's just recognize their claim over Turkey, so we don't have to fight a war against them, because they now have a military of 100 trillion people. Yep, that's totally how big their military is now. It's my video, I can do what I want. They then decide that all of this is theirs now, as they turn this massive area from ocean into land. Same thing with the Caspian Sea. And soon after, they decide that the entire world is theirs. I don't know what happened at the end of this video, but anyways, that's the video. This is what would happen if the Caucasus Empire existed in real life. Anyways, thank you for watching, and goodbye. Anyways, one final thing for the video, and that is, we can now put the Caucasus Empire onto this map, which also contains the gray team. I would put the red team on here, but I did not save that, so, they don't get to be here. So, anyways, let's get this put as well. There we go. We now have both the gray team and the Caucasus Empire on here. If someone, wants to, make a map of, my WICSO before episode 10, then I'll put the red team on, but no one has to do that. I don't expect anyone to do that anyways, though. The next country that will exist in real life might be the, pink, country over here. Let me just... this country here. I might make that. I might also make one about the green, Italian country. And then after World War II, there's a country, or a few countries, that will get some, but I'm not going to spoil who those are. You will have to wait. But after World War II happens in my WICSO, it will be pretty obvious. Also, this map is from before World War I. Actually, I might put another country in here before World War II happens. But I'm not going to spoil who that is. So anyways, thank you for watching, and goodbye.